Good morning. Good morning. If you can hear me, please respond.
We can hear you, Madam Irene. Just continue, you're okay?
Okay. So we are continuing with the paper you were discussing last time. We addressed question 22. So just share the paper. I hope you can see the paper on the screen. You had to download it. I hope you downloaded. The other time, most of you didn't have the paper. So you are to start question 22. Question 22. The question is on the screen. We find the velocity of a particle in meters per second moving in a straight line after t seconds is given
Madam
by...
Irene, you've not yet shared the screen.
I have shared it. You don't see it.
Yeah, we cannot see it. Try to reshare again.
Okay. Are you able to see it?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. So number 22 is there. The question is, you find the you are given the velocity equation. Find the acceleration of the particle after 2 seconds. So how do you find acceleration given velocity equation? Yes, Melvin. Unmute yourself.
You differentiate the equation given, and then
Good.
after you differentiate, you replace the value of t with 2 seconds to get acceleration.
Good. So acceleration is given by dv dt. So let's differentiate and substitute t with 2 to get the value of acceleration. You can share your answer once you've worked it out. Yes, Melvin.
9 meters per second squared.
9 meters per second squared. I hope you are all able to differentiate. Anyone with a question? Anyone who was unable to differentiate? Someone by the name 9, yes? Unmute yourself. Okay, 9 has disappeared, so I believe it's okay. So differentiate, get dv dt, and then evaluate when t is equals to 2. You'll get 9 meters per second squared. Then the second part, Roman 2, the distance covered by the particle between t is equals to 1 and t is equals to 4. How do you get distance given the velocity equation? How do you get distance given the velocity equation? Yes, Frank. Frank amepotea. Anyone else? How do you get distance given the velocity equation? Yes, Melvin.
You integrate the velocity equation.
You integrate the velocity equation and then we work out from
The
1 to
two.
4. Good. So let's integrate the velocity equation from 1 to 4. Yes. Amepotea. You can share your answer if you are done. Yes, Melvin.
When you integrate the equation, you'll get t cubed minus 3 over 2t squared minus 6t plus c. And then when you use t is equals to 1 and t is equals to 4, you'll get 9.5 meters.
Good. Any question? Anyone who was unable to integrate? Okay. So I believe we've all integrated. And then after integrating, we substitute the values 4 and 1, and then you get the difference. So Roman 3, the time when the particle is momentarily at rest. When is a particle momentarily at rest? When is a particle momentarily at rest? Yes, Andrew? Unmute yourself.
When the velocity is 0.
When the velocity is 0, good. So we are going to find the time when v is 0. So where we have the velocity equation, equate it to 0 and solve for t. The velocity equation was v is equals to 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. What do we get as t? If you work out 3t squared minus 3t minus 6 is equals to 0, and then you work out the values of t. Yes, Kiari. Kiari, you can unmute yourself.
2 seconds.
2 seconds. So if you solve, you're supposed to get two values. We are getting t is equals to 2 and t is -1, you ignore. You have to work out and show the two values. Then you also show that you're ignoring t is equals to -1. You write there ignore. Then before you go to the next question, the one for distance, you were calculating distance covered from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 4. So I forgot to mention that before you integrate, usually you're supposed to either sketch or find the values of v from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 4, so that you can see if all of it is above the x-axis or some part of it is below the x-axis. So this for the equation that you have, 3t squared minus 3t minus 6, I want us to come up with a table of values. Just come up with a table of values from t is equals to 1. So your table will be t and then v. So t is our x-axis, v is our y-axis. Then I want you to find the values of v from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 4. Find the values of v from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 4. Just come up with your table of values. When t is 1, you get the value of v. When t is 2, you get the value of v. Once you have your values, you can share with us. Anyone who has completed the table from t is equals to 1 to 4, you read for me the values of v. Yes, Andrew?
When t is 1, the v is -6. When t is 2, v is 0. 3, v is 12. And 4, v is 30.
Good. So from that table of values, we can see that part of the graph is below the x-axis. When t is 1, we have -6. So when we are calculating the distance, we are going to integrate not directly from 1 to 4. You will go from 1 to 2, where we have -6 to 0. So you go from 1 to 2, you evaluate, and then you go from 2 to 4. You also evaluate. Then you add the 2. Tumeelewana hapo? Kwa distance, Roman 2, we had not checked the nature of the graph. So if you look at the nature of the graph, part of it is below the x-axis, and the other part is above the x-axis. So you cannot integrate directly from 1 to 4. So you calculate the area below the x-axis, that will be from 1 to 2. Then you also calculate the area above the x-axis, that is from 2 to 4. Then you add the two areas to get the area of the curve. Is it clear? Is it clear? Anyone, someone to respond? Okay, you're not responding. Andrew, you have a question? Yes? Unmute yourself. Yes? Andrew amepotea. Do you have a question? Okay, so I hope it's clear. Anytime you're asked to find distance, before you find distance, always try to get the values of or the x and the y coordinates. Then you check if the y coordinates, there is any that is negative. If they are all negative, you integrate directly. If they are all positive, you integrate directly. If some are negative and some are positive, you integrate partly. Yes, mchungaji. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and ask the question. Yes? You're not talking. Your mic is on. Okay, as you wait for his question, we can continue. Okay, let's continue to the next question. Roman 4, the minimum velocity attained by the particle. How do you get minimum or maximum velocity? Minimum or maximum velocity occurs when? Yes, Starlet.
When acceleration is equals to 0.
Good, when acceleration is 0. So we get minimum or maximum velocity when acceleration is 0. That is basically the maximum or minimum points of a curve, and they usually occur when the gradient is 0. So for a velocity time graph, the gradient is acceleration. So we go back to our acceleration equation, equate it to 0, and then get time. So find t when acceleration is 0. Our acceleration equation was what? You go back to where you had differentiated the velocity equation. So our acceleration equation was 6t minus 3. 6t minus 3. Use it to find t. And then using that t, you find velocity. Substitute in the velocity equation. So you can share your answers for t first, and then the velocity, the minimum velocity. Usman has disappeared. Anyone who has found time? Good, I'm saying t is equals to 0.5. That's correct. So our acceleration equation is 6t minus 3 is equals to 0. Then use it to get t. T is 0.5. Yes, Usman. Unmute yourself. Starlet, unmute yourself. Sorry?
I'm getting it at negative 6.75.
Starlet, we can't hear you. So anyone else? T is 0.5. What is V? What is V? Minimum velocity? Yes, Usman, unmute yourself. Yes?
6.75.
Yes?
6.75
6.75.
meters per second.
Positive
Yes,
or negative?
it's negative.
If you substitute 0.5, you're getting 6.75.
Yes.
You substituted in which equation?
I've used the 3t squared minus 3t minus 6.
Okay. Let me work it out and see if your answer is correct.
Okay.
times 3. Yeah, it's correct. You get negative 6.75 meters per second.
Yes.
Okay, good. Any question? Any question? No question. Ernest, you have a question? Yes, Ernest, unmute yourself. Ernest amepotea. Oh, yes?
Can you calculate Roman 2 again?
Roman 2, the one for distance.
Yes.
The one for distance. So the
Yes.
one for distance, I said before you calculate, anytime you're told to calculate distance and a curve by integration, before you calculate, first of all, confirm if all your values of V or whichever question that they're asking are all positive or all negative. So in our case, we are working from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 4. So I said you first of all come up with the values of V, the corresponding values of V. So you come up with a table of values. So in the table, when t is 1, V is negative 6. When t is 2, V is 0. And then when t is 3, V is 12. And when t is 4, V is 30. So looking at the values, there's one value that is negative, one value of V, meaning that part of the curve is below the x-axis. So to get distance, we are going to integrate the velocity equation, but partly. We don't go directly from 1 to 4. So we'll go from 1 to 2. 1 to 2. We integrate the velocity equation from 1 to 2. Are you together? Plus,
Yes.
then plus, we integrate again from 2 to 4.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So when you integrate from 1 to 2 and evaluate, you are going to get, what will you get? 3.5. Is it 3.5? You'll get 3.5. And if you integrate the other one from 2 to 4, you're getting 26. If you add the 2, you get 29.5. Have you understood?
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? Starlet, unmute yourself.
To find the displacement during the, let's say, during the second. Second, when told to find the displacement after, where is the difference?
You're going to come up again. I couldn't hear what you are saying.
I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
if you're told to find the displacement during the second,
Mm-hmm.
and told to find the displacement after 2 seconds, how are
After
you
2 seconds.
supposed to go? Yes, during and after.
So after 2 seconds, if you have the displacement equation, you just substitute 2 in the displacement equation. Are you together?
Yes.
Then the other one during, you are going to go from 0 to 2. Is it not during this? It depends where you are starting, the starting point. So during is an interval. Are you together? During is an
Yes.
interval. So meaning that you will evaluate from, if you are starting from the first one, let's say if you're starting from t is equals to 1. So from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 2, that is the first second. Then 2 to 3 is the second second. Are you together? Unaelewa? Charlotte. Yes, your mic is still on. Unaelewa? Kama nani yako on? Unmute yourself. Charlotte. Violet amenipotelea. Lawrence Muhia, you have a question?
Yes, Chair, I want to get some clarification.
Mm-hmm.
When you're told during the second, do you calculate from 0 to 2 or 1?
No, 2 to 3. You know, we're starting from, I'm assuming we're starting from the first second, t is equals to 1. Are you together? So kama tunaanza t is equals to 1, then from 1 to 2,
Yes.
that is during the first second. From 1 to 2, that is during the first second.
Okay.
From 2 to 3 is during the second second. Unaelewa? So utatoka 2 to 3.
And then when you're told after the second,
After 2
will
seconds,
you calculate up to, yeah,
after
2 seconds?
After 2 seconds, you just substitute the value of t as 2.
Okay.
During, it's an interval, so una evaluate from 2 to 3.
Okay.
Sawa?
Yeah, thank you.
Aya, kuna huyu ameinua mkono anaitwa nani? Please repeat Roman. Roman what? Let me see. Roman 3. There's someone called Rudia. You have a question? Unmute yourself. Rudia, unmute yourself. Okay, Rudia is not responding. So someone is saying we repeat Roman 3. Roman 3 was, let me see. The time when the particle is momentarily at rest. So a particle is momentarily at rest when velocity is 0. So we go to the velocity equation. This 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. And then you equate it to 0. So unaandika 3t squared minus 3t minus 6 is equals to 0. And then you solve for t. So if we solve, we are getting 2 values of t. Because it's a quadratic equation, you must get 2 values. So getting t is equals to -1 and t is equals to 2. Since time cannot be negative, you write ignore. You must write your ignore where t is equals to -1 and pick t is equals to 2 as the time when the particle is momentarily at rest. I hope imeeleweka. The person was asking. Any other question? Any other question? Yes, Alfred. Unmute yourself. Yes, Alfred. Alfred, you're not talking. Unmute yourself.
Okay, for the question on distance, what is the answer?
The answer is what? Is it 29.5?
So you first integrate from 2 to 1.
No, you start from 1 to 2. 1 to 2. And then 2 to 4.
So the upper boundary for
1 to 2, the upper boundary is 2, the lower boundary is 1. You evaluate and get the answer for that one. Then again, you integrate from 2 to 4. The upper boundary is 4, the lower boundary is 2. You also evaluate that one. Then you add the 2 answers.
Okay, thank
you. I unmute yourself. The one who is raising up the hand. Sioni jina. You just written, please repeat Roman 4. Unmute yourself. He's not responding. Okay. So let's continue. So I'm assuming he's asking that we repeat Roman 4, the minimum velocity attained by the particle. So minimum velocity, minimum or maximum. Ukiulizwa maximum ama minimum, the formula is the same. Minimum and maximum, those are turning points of a curve. And turning points usually occur when the gradient function is 0, when the gradient is 0. So for a velocity time graph, the velocity is the gradient is acceleration. So minimum velocity occurs when acceleration is 0. So you go back to your acceleration equation, which we had gotten as 6, it was 60 minus 3. Acceleration was 60 minus 3. Then you equate 60 minus 3 to 0 and solve for t. You'll get t as 0.5. So once you get t as 0.5, you go back to the velocity equation and substitute t with 0.5 to get v. So v we had gotten as what? It was negative 6.75, I think. Yes, Patrick? Unmute yourself.
That the boundaries 2 to 1 and 4 to 2. Under which section are we using it?
That is Roman 2.
Yes.
Roman 2, the question was to find distance. You know distance you get by integrating the velocity equation. So I said you cannot integrate directly because part of the graph is below the x-axis. So the part of the graph that is below the x-axis is from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 2. So we are integrating the velocity equation from t is equals to 1 to t is equals to 2.
Yes.
Naelewa? Patrick, are you together? You're not responding. Are you together?
Yes.
Yeah, I've said you're integrating the velocity equation from t is from 1 to 2 plus you integrate it again from 2 to 4.
Yes.
So 1 to 2 you evaluate, you get a value, plus 2 to 4 you evaluate, you get a value. Then you add the 2.
So for every question that asks you to find the distance between certain seconds, you integrate from two boundaries.
No, not
Then
for
you
every
add.
question. Not for every question. If you're asked to find distance, I've said, first of all, try and get the values of v. Just come up with a table of values. From the 2 times you are given, get the corresponding values of v. Then once you get the v, you check. If some are positive and some are negative, then you have to integrate partly. You divide from the beginning to where the negative ends, then from where it ends to where the positive ends. If the values of v are all positive, we integrate directly from 1 to 4. If they are all negative, again, you integrate directly. Unaelewa?
Understood.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? No question. So before we go to the next question, how do you get maximum or minimum displacement? Maximum or minimum displacement? How do you get maximum or minimum displacement? Yes, anyone? Maximum or minimum displacement? Yes, Steve. Unmute yourself, Steve.
By integrating the equation to velocity and then you equate it to 0.
Yeah, so if you want to get maximum or minimum displacement, you get it when the value of velocity, maximum or minimum displacement occurs when velocity is 0. So you go to your velocity equation, equate it to 0, solve for t. and then you substitute that t in your displacement equation. Tumeelewa?
Yes.
Okay, there's someone with a question. M3LO. Unmute yourself. Yes?
So I was asking
Mm-hmm.
if you want to get the maximum and minimum displacement,
Mm-hmm.
and then you say it's like you see the way we integrate and then we differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
See, we differentiate to get the velocity from the displacement.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you get the displacement directly from the acceleration?
Not from acceleration. You cannot go direct. If you want to get displacement, you first of all get velocity. Then from
Yes.
velocity, you get displacement.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Steve, do you still have a question? Unmute yourself.
No, I don't have a question.
Okay, Andrew. Andrew, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Mm-hmm.
Can you please pardon me? You said, how do you get the maximum displacement?
I've said maximum. If you're asked maximum or minimum displacement, it occurs when velocity is 0. Remember, velocity is the gradient of a displacement time graph. So maximum or minima usually occur when the gradient is 0. So if you have a displacement equation, maximum displacement or minimum displacement will occur when velocity is 0. So you go to your velocity equation, get the value of t when v is 0. Then that t you substitute in the displacement equation to get either maximum or minimum displacement. Umeelewa, Andrew? Andrew, iko sawa? Unmute yourself. Okay, Starlet, you have a question. Starlet amepotea. Preston, unmute yourself.
Excuse me, Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kindly come again?
About the maximum displacement.
Yes, please.
Okay. So maybe I'll just use an example. Let me see. We have velocity. So to get displacement from velocity, what do? We integrate velocity, isn't it? Are you together? If you have velocity, you want to get displacement, what do? We integrate. Sindio? Mwenye uliza swali a respond. Are we together? Okay, I'm giving an example. You write it down. So assuming, let's use this equation that you are given here. Suppose this was S. So let's say S is equals to 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. Andika. Suppose S is 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. S is displacement. Are you together?
Yes.
So I'm just giving an example. Suppose S is equals to 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. That is the displacement equation. Then you are asked to find the maximum or maybe minimum displacement. Right? Nani mic yake iko on? Are we together? No, user swali. It is Preston. Preston, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Preston. unmute yourself so that nijue kama you are following. I'm giving an example. So my example is, suppose S is equals to 3t squared minus 3t minus 6. That is displacement. Then the question now is find the maximum displacement, or maybe you are told to find the minimum displacement. The first thing you'll do, you find velocity, which is ds dt. Find ds dt using that equation. What will be ds dt? ds dt will be what? Preston, you're the one who asked the question. Now we'll respond.
Sorry, my mic was muted. So ds dt will be the integration of the displacement equation.
Yeah.
So it will be 60 minus 3.
60 minus 3. So that will be your velocity equation, isn't it?
Yes.
Then now to get maximum velocity, suppose the question was maximum velocity or maybe minimum, whichever. You are going to get the value of t when v is 0. So you have v. So where that 60 minus 3, equate it to 0 and solve for t.
T is equals to 0.5.
T is equals to 0.5. Then when you get t is equals to 0.5, you substitute it in the displacement equation. You substitute it back to the displacement equation to get now your either minimum displacement or maximum displacement. Remember, you cannot be asked to find the two in one question, using one question, because it is either minimum point or maximum point, but the method is the same. Imeeleweka?
Yes.
Okay. Huyu ni nani? Huyu ana jina. Preston, you are okay?
Yes.
There's this other person. Starlet. Yes.
Velocity. And
Sorry?
we're told to find the displacement.
Come
Can
up
you
again.
hear me?
Yes, but come up again. I can hear you, Starlet. Come up again.
I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
if you're given the equation for the velocity and you're told to find the displacement during the second, you have to first integrate it. Do you find the displacement just like we find the area under a curve?
Yeah, you've said
Like
during?
you give the limit.
Yeah, you've said
During
during
the
what?
third second.
During the third
The
second.
third second.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are going to...
Do you find the...
You're going to integrate...
Do you...
You integrate velocity and then you evaluate it from 3 to 4. You evaluate from 3 to
like
4.
3
Yeah,
to
the same
4
way
or
find
3
distance.
or 2 to 3?
3 to 4.
Oh.
Remember
Just
one...
like we do it under the area of a curve.
Yes. Okay. Sorry? Send me the... Send a chat so that I can't hear you. Send the question through SMS, through a chat.
Okay.
Just text your question.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question? Under integration and differentiation. Somebody is asking, how do we find? Let me see. How do we find? How do you find constant? Okay, let me just unmute you so that you ask the question. I can't read the all of it up. Hujaituma kwa chat. Unmute yourself and ask it. The one who is asking, how do we find constant after something? After integration. Unmute yourself. We are amekataa. Dexter. Okay. Dexter, unmute yourself.
Will you be able to show the work?
Yes?
Could show the work.
I can't hear you.
Kindly show the work.
And you kindly do what?
Show the work.
Show the working.
Yeah.
I have not worked it out. We are just discussing. Those are questions zenye watu wanauliza tu, so I have not worked out.
Saying.
Hmm?
Now on.
Sorry? I can't hear him. Okay, let's go to the next question. So the next question is under income tax. Income tax. So we are given, the question is there, you are given that table. Then the question is, you are given Mrs. Momani and a basic salary of 32,000, a house allowance of 10,000, and an untaxable allowance of 8,000. She claimed a tax relief of 1056 per month. Calculate a total taxable income. How do we get taxable income? How do you get taxable income? Yes, Pascal.
You add basic salary plus taxable allowances.
Good. So we add basic salary plus taxable allowances. Remember, non-taxable allowances are not included in the taxable income. So what will be our taxable income in this case?
42,000.
42,000. Good. Then the second part. So before we go to the second part, suppose this person was housed by the employer and was paying some rent. How would we calculate the taxable income? Yes, Charles. Charles, unmute yourself.
In order to calculate the taxable income, you'll do basic salary plus 15% of the basic salary plus any other allowances, then you minus the nominal rent.
Good. So would have just calculated 115% of basic salary plus taxable allowances. And then we subtract the nominal rent. And then you can continue with the taxing now. So part B, calculate the payee in that month. So you can just calculate, the table is there. Alfred, you have a question?
Please repeat what you just said about rent.
I have said when you're calculating taxable income is given by basic salary plus taxable allowances. That is if the person is not being housed by the employer. If there is housing and the person is paying some rent, or maybe is not paying any rent but is housed. If the person is housed, then we calculate the taxable income by we add 115% of basic salary plus taxable allowances minus rent. If the person is not paying rent, then it will just be 115% of basic salary plus taxable allowances. I hope that is clear. So let's calculate the pay. Yes, Kipchumba.
Can you please pardon what you said about being housed by the employer?
I've said, a person can be housed by the employer and he's paying rent. or it can be housed but not paying rent. So if the question has stated that the person is being housed by the employer, housed simaanisha ati house allowance. Ikisema hapo he is housed by the employer and is paying a nominal rent of 2,000, or he is housed by the employer but is not paying any rent, then that is when we use 115% of basic salary plus taxable allowances minus rent. Tumeelewana?
Yes.
Ukiambiwa housed by the employer, not house allowance. Some people tend to confuse house allowance for housing. House allowance is just an allowance. Housing is different. Alfred, unmute yourself.
Where is the 115% coming from?
115. The formula is usually basic salary plus 15% of basic salary plus allowances minus rent. So 115 is just the addition of the basic salary plus the 15%. So instead of the long method of basic salary plus 15% of basic salary, you can just work out as 115% of basic salary plus allowances minus rent.
So that is when the person is paying rent.
When the person is housed by the employer, they might be paying or not. Ukiambiwa kwa swali, the person is housed by the employer.
Yeah. So that means like when you just told, you do not told whether they are paying or not paying, you just use this formula.
The question will specify. Usually if they are paying utaambiwa, they are paying a nominal rent of maybe 2,000. If they are not paying utaambiwa tu he's housed by the employer, but they will not mention any rent anywhere. So if they have not mentioned any rent, it means you just use 115% plus taxable allowances. Then there is no rent to subtract. If they are paying rent, 115% plus taxable allowances minus rent.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's tax. So again, before you start taxing, normally it's advisable you look at the heading of your table, the various columns. So here we only have 2 columns. The first column is monthly taxable income, taxable pay in shillings. And then the other side, we have rate of tax in percentage per shilling. So since it is monthly, we can go ahead and calculate. Sometimes the table can be per annum. So if it is per annum, you change your taxable income to per year. Again, it can be pounds. The table can also be pounds per annum. So again, if it is pounds, you change your taxable income to pounds. So in this case, the question is just simple. It is in shillings per month. So let's calculate the pay. Yes, Pascal. Pascal, unmute yourself.
Pay 68.72.
You're getting? 68.
68.72.
68.72 is correct. Nani hajapata? So those who have not gotten, let me just show you the working. If you can see it, you respond. If you can't, you also tell me if you can't see the response. Okay, so that's how we calculate it. If you look at the table in the question, it's going up to 37, above 37,000 and something. So our taxable income was 42,000. So it means we're going to tax up to the last band. So the first band, the highest amount is 96.80. You multiply by 10% and get the tax in that band. Then this 9120 is the difference between the upper limit of the second band and the upper limit of the first band. You get 9120. Multiply by the rate is 15%. So you do that till you get to the fourth band. So when you get to the fourth band, for you to get the value that you'll tax in the fifth band, you take the difference between your taxable income and the upper boundary or the upper limit of the fourth band. This is what they call here the remaining tax. Remaining tax is the difference between your taxable income and the upper limit of the fourth band. Then you tax it with 30%. After that, you add all the money that you've gotten as tax in the various bands to get your gross tax. So our gross tax is 79.28. Then in the question, this person was paying relief of 10.56. So you remove that relief to get your payee. Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, I have a question. Suppose in the question, there was insurance. Suppose you were told that this person was paying insurance and was claiming insurance relief at maybe, let's say the person was paying an insurance of 2,000 and was claiming insurance relief of 3 shillings per pound. 3 shillings per pound to a maximum of 500 shillings. Mmesikia swali yangu kweli? I'm saying suppose part of the question was this person was paying insurance relief of 2,000 shillings. 2,000 shillings and was claiming insurance relief of 3 shillings per pound to a maximum of 500 shillings. How would that affect the question? How would that affect the question? Yes, Lawrence?
I think you'll take the insurance and then you convert it into pounds and multiply it by 3. And then the amount you get, you add it as relief to the tax relief that he already has.
Good. So if you have insurance and you've been told someone is claiming insurance relief, it is part of relief. So you'll take 2,000, change it into pounds, divide by 20, and then multiply by 3. So in this case, we are getting 300. So this 300 will be part of relief. So you'll subtract it from your gross tax when you're trying to get your net tax. Lawrence, unmute yourself.
So Charles was asking, the person has an insurance of 2,000, and then the statement made earlier on up to a maximum of 500 shillings. Will that affect the amount of relief you are going to calculate?
Yeah, so I want to explain that part. So this person was paying 2,000. If you take 2,000 divided by 20 times 3, we are getting 300, isn't it? So 300 is not up to 500. So we are going to subtract 300 as relief. But suppose we calculated and the value that we got was above 500. Tuseme ungecalculate this claim, ukapata maybe 600. Suppose you got 600, you cannot subtract 600 as relief. You only subtract 500. Tunaelewana? If you calculate the relief na ikuje below the maximum, you subtract it. But if you calculate na ikuje above the maximum, you only subtract the maximum value. You only subtract the maximum value. Any question? Imeeleweka hiyo part? Charles?
Can you please
Yes, Charles?
kindly repeat, therefore subtracting on its maximum value?
Okay, let me repeat. I'm saying this person was paying 2,000 na tukaambiwa he's claiming insurance relief of 3 shillings per pound. And then tukacalculate tukapata itakuja 300. 2,000 divided by 20 then times 3. Tukapata itakuja 300. So 300 is below 500. So when you've calculated your gross tax and now you want to get your payee, so unachukua gross tax minus relief. So we'll take gross tax, then we subtract the personal relief na pia to subtract 300 to get payee. Now I'm saying again, suppose ulikuwa umecalculate 2,000 over 2 then times 3 ukapata value that is above 500. Kama ungepata a value that is above 500, like for example you got 600, then now when you're calculating your payee, you cannot subtract, you're going to take your gross tax minus personal relief ya 1056, then minus, you cannot subtract 600, you're going to subtract 500. Umeambiwa to a maximum of 500. So the relief that you can be given is to a maximum of 500. Ikiwa above 500, you don't subtract the amount that you get, you only subtract 500. I hope imeeleweka. Imeeleweka? Haya. Then again, that relief, that insurance, when you're calculating your net pay, pale chini when you ask to calculate net pay, insurance is also part of deductions. So ukienda pale kwa other deductions, hiyo pesa ya insurance unaweka kwa deductions. Are you together? Haya, tuende hapa part C. Part C, work out part C. Try part C. Yes, James. Unmute yourself. James amepotea. Anyone who has gotten the answer? Yes, Brian. Brian, unmute yourself. Brian, amekataa. Nikki, unmute yourself.
I've gotten 39,308.
39,000?
308.
308? And 8.
Yeah.
39,308.
Yeah.
Good. So there's someone who had asked where we use the non-taxable income. So this is where we use it in part C. So part C umeambiwa other than tax, the following deductions are made. So these are the deductions. And then we have the payee. Then we're told to calculate her monthly income from her employment. So remember when you are calculating taxable income, we only added the basic salary plus taxable allowances. When you are calculating net pay, the formula is usually basic salary plus allowances, all allowances. Taxable income plus all allowances, you close bracket, then minus in the other bracket, payee plus other deductions. So, and when you're calculating her net monthly income, we are going to take the taxable income ile ulipata pale juu, then you also add the non-taxable allowances. You also add the non-taxable allowances, and then you subtract the tax plus other deductions. Lawrence, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, Chair. So I was asking, when you are, do you also include the insurance that that person pays as part of deductions?
Yeah, if the person was paying insurance, you include it in the as part of deductions.
Okay, thank you.
But when kama kumekuwa na rent, ile story ya rent, when the person was being housed and there was rent or something, some of you tend to confuse and remove the rent as deductions. The rent is not part of deductions. So rent hatuweki pale chini kwa deductions. Insurance tunaweka kwa deductions. Aya, Hassan, unmute yourself.
Teacher,
Mm-hmm.
rent si deduction,
Rent hatuweki kwa deductions.
lakini si analipa rent.
Yes, analipa rent, lakini hiyo rent yake haijakuwa taxed anywhere. Si unaona pale juu tukifanya inaitwa nini? Tukicalculate taxable income minus rent. Rent haiko hapo.
Kwa rent si deduction.
Wajua rent analipa employer.
Sawa.
But when you're calculating your net pay ni chenye utapata kwa account yako. So,
Sawa basi.
Haya, kuna swali ingine? No question. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So hapo kwa income tax, you also remember to revise the reverse one. Una ile reverse, when you're going back from when you're given payee and you're now going back to finding taxable income, and maybe the basics, when you're finding taxable income and basic salary. So you can also revise that one at your own free time. So let's go to the next question. Number 24. So number 24, this one we are not going to revise it. We can't draw, but si mnajua kuchora graph. So this one you're supposed to just you fill in the table of values and then you draw that graph. So the part that I will explain is the questions after the graph. So after you've drawn the graph, you're told use the graph to solve the equations. So the first equation is similar to the graph that we have drawn, only that the graph ilikuwa y. Y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. So usually what you do, you take the equation that you have plotted, that is y minus x cubed, y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5, and subtract the equation that you've been given so that you come up with an equation of a straight line. Then you draw that line. So let me just show you what we do in the marking scheme. So this is what I'm saying. You just subtract. So you have drawn the graph of y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. So you subtract the equation that you've been told to solve. So when you subtract, you're going to get equation of a line. Roman 1, we are getting y is equals to 0. Y is equals to 0 is the x-axis. So you go to your x-axis on the graph and read the values of x where the curve cuts the x-axis. Since it is a cubic equation, you must get 3 values. So the curve will cut the x-axis at these 3 values. So hapa naona negative 4.8, negative 0.7, and 1.5. Then the next question is also solving an equation. So you do the same. Subtract that equation from the graph that you have drawn. Then you get equation of a straight line. Draw that line and then read the values of the curve where the curve cuts the line. Any question? Any question? Nani ako na swali? No question. So let me ask a question. In this number 24. Yes, Lawrence, you have a question.
So teacher, there's a case like imali yenye tulifanya. The line that after calculating, the line was only cutting the curve at one point. So how hiyo inatokezanga aje? Yet the curve is a cubic function.
Is a cubic function.
Yeah.
Kusho uliwork out vizuri, it was just cutting at one point.
Yes.
Then inamaanisha it only has one real root. Repeated roots. Tunasemanga repeated roots ama? It was, yeah.
Ilikuwa inakata only at one point.
So inamaanisha iko tu na repeated roots at one point. Ni kama you can solve a quadratic equation and get 2 answers. All of them are the same. Tunasema they are repeated roots.
Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, I wanted to ask, we have drawn the graph of y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. Then now I suppose you are told to use the graph to solve the equation. Use the graph to solve the equation. A third x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4 is equals to 0. The equation that we have drawn is y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. Then use that graph to solve the equation a third x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4 is equals to 0. What do we do? Yes, how do we answer that question? No one is responding. Ama nirudie swali. Have you understood the question? Anyone, mtu aseme kama swali imeeleweka. Hassan, have you understood the question? Hassan?
Okay. Chair.
Yes.
I think just work it out the same way. The only difference is that you've included a fraction in the equation.
Yeah, we just included a fraction. So what do we do with the fraction? That's what I'm asking.
You multiply each number by the denominator to remove the denominator.
Good. So we just multiply the equation that you are solving now by the fraction, so that you're able to subtract it from the initial equation.
Okay.
Yeah. And if the fraction was not a third, it was 2/3, you multiply by the reciprocal of the coefficient of x cubed. Iko sawa?
So 3/2.
Yeah, if it was 2/3, you multiply through by 3/2, so that we remove that the fraction part. Aya, any question? Okay,
Yeah.
no question. There is a question here. M3LO, yes.
I was asking if you draw the line and it doesn't touch the curves.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, if you draw the line, if you've solved the equation correctly,
Yes.
assuming kila kitu iko correct, then
Yeah.
inamaanisha that curve has no real roots.
So you're going to write the answers, the curve has no real roots.
Yeah, your answer should be no real root. Lazima uandike, usipoandika then you don't have the mark for the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Unaandika it has no real roots.
Yeah.
Aya, any other question? Yes, Pascal. Unmute yourself.
Okay, teacher, hapo kwa 2/3 umesema tuna multiply na reciprocal.
Yeah.
The point ni, okay, what's the point?
Okay, the point is, okay, hii swali yangu tu nimejaribu kutengeneza, but the point is, sometimes you can be given an equation na coefficient haifanani na coefficient ile ya kwanza. Remember, our aim is to remain with an equation of a line, not an equation of a curve. Because you can't draw two curves to solve the equation of a given equation. So ukipewa, you look at the coefficients. So mostly utapewa coefficient that if you multiply through itaisha. So I was saying, for example, if you were given 2/3 x cubed, na ile original equation ilikuwa x cubed peke yake, the coefficient was 1. So you also have to make the coefficient of this one to be 1. So you'll multiply by reciprocal 3/2 so that it will cancel out, so that your coefficient will remain 1. Unaelewa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cha.
Hapo
hebu rudi hapo kwa coefficient juu sijui, like unasema tuna multiply na coefficient ya
tumechora curve ya y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5, si ndio? Hiyo ndio tumechora. Then sasa ukapewa swali, na hii swali inasema utafute the equation, the solution, use the graph to solve 2/3x cubed plus, hii 4 ita change, I don't know, we put what? Let's put 6. Something like 6. So 2/3x cubed plus 6x squared minus 4 minus x minus 4, something like that too. So remember, the reason why we are subtracting this equation from the original is to come up with an equation of a line. Ndio?
Yes.
So if you were to subtract directly, x cubed minus 2/3x cubed, itakupea fraction ingine ya x cubed.
Yes, that.
And then itamaanisha you have to draw another curve.
Yes.
But you're not supposed to draw a curve. So before you subtract this equation that you're solving, you have to work it out. You look at that question, then unaangalia ni nini utamultiply nayo, so that the coefficient of x cubed will be 1.
So it's like solving using the square method or something like that.
No, hii hapa, you just look at Your intention is just to make it, you make it to look the same as the first one in terms of the coefficients of x cubed and x squared.
Oh.
So that when you subtract, you only remain with the equation of a straight line. So you can modify to your equation. You're not changing the equation, you're modifying it by multiplying it with a certain factor, depending on the question.
Yes.
Then now you subtract it. When you're subtracting, you must remain with an equation of a line, not equation of a curve.
Okay.
Yeah. APPS, you have a question. Unmute yourself. Yes? Your mic is on, but we can't hear you.
Teacher, you said
Yes.
during, for example, during the second second, you you calculate from 2 to 3. Is that how it's supposed to be?
See, during the second, you know, if you're starting from t is equals to
Yes.
1. If you're starting from t is equals to 1, unaenda. So from 1 to 2, that is during the first second, isn't it? Are you together? That is for
Yes.
during the first second. Kama unaanza from t is equals to 1. So I'm saying suppose you're starting from t is equals to 1. So during the first second sitakuwa from 1 to 2. During ni hiyo period hapo katikati. From 1 to 2. Then from 2 to 3 si ndio utakuwa unaenda during the second.
Oh, okay.
Haya. So if there's no any other question, we can go to part A of the paper. Part A. So let me just go to section A. So section A, the first question is that solve for x. Given half log base 2 of 81 plus log base 2 of x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1. Let's try it out. Yes, time. Amepotea tena. Yes, Walter. Walter, unmute yourself.
X is equals to 2 over 3 or negative 1 over 3.
2 over 3 or negative 1 over 3. Anyone else with a different answer? Okay, so we are going to use the laws of logarithms there. Let me show you the working. So we are going to use the laws of logarithms. The question was log base 2 of 81. Was it log base 2 of 81? Let me just go back to the question. It was a half log base 2 of 81. So if you use laws of logarithms, you take this half to be the power of 81. So log base 2 of 81 power half, that will be log base 2 of 9. So log base 2 of 9. So that's why we have log base 2 of 9 plus log base 2 of This is x squared. Is it x squared? The question was x squared or 2x. Yeah, log base 2 of x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1. Then using the laws of logarithms, you can multiply those two. You can multiply 9 with this other bracket. So we have 9 times x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 2. So if you open the brackets, here we're having what? 9x squared minus 3x. Then you bring 2 this other side. Is it 2 or 1? So it's supposed to be 1. This is supposed to be 1. So if it's 1, you bring 1 this other side. Then you solve that quadratic equation using any method. So the answers you're getting is what? 2 over 3 and negative a third. Yes, M3LO. Unmute yourself.
Excuse me, Cha.
Mm-hmm.
In the marking scheme, we have 1 there at the top.
Yeah, then we have 2. I think
Yeah.
the marking scheme is not correct. That's why I'm saying it's supposed to be 1.
I think it's correct.
It's supposed to be 2. A book question inasema nini? Just a minute. Let me look at the question. The question was 1.
Yes.
Oh, they have multiplied by 2. It's supposed to be 2. Iko sawa?
Cha, that one. Cha.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hiyo one iko kwa log base 10. Yes.
And let me explain to you how we get the 2.
Yeah.
So if you look at here, we have log base 2 of 9 plus log base 2 of into bracket x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1. So using laws of logarithms, you can write log base 2 of 9 plus this as log base 2 of 9 times. So unafaa uandike log base 2 of 9 times into bracket x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1.
Yes.
Are you together?
Yes.
So to remove the logarithm, we write this one in index form. In index form. So in index form, itakuwa 2 power 1 is equals to 2 power 1 is equals to 9 times into bracket x squared minus x over 3.
2 power 1.
Yeah. Tunaelewa kwenye 2 power 1 inatoka?
Baby pardon.
See, the question hapa vile imeandikwa log base 2 of 9 hapo umeelewa is equals to 1, isn't it?
Yes.
Hapo inaeleweka. Then using the laws of logarithms, from this step, kuna step haijaandikwa hapa. The next step inafaa ikue log base 2 of 9 times into bracket x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1.
Hapo nimeelewa.
Umeelewa?
Swali yangu ni hapo kwa
2.
Kwa hiyo 1 si initially ilikuwa haikuwa log base 2.
Yeah, equal log base 2. We have not introduced logs kwa 1. Hiyo 1 iko sawa tu vile iko, haina any base, haina any log. It is just a value. So now when you have log base 2 of 9 into bracket x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 1, you write that one in index form.
Yes.
Sija introduce a log kwa 1. If you write in index form, itakuwa 2 power 1 is equals to 9 into x squared minus x over 3.
Yes.
Naelewa, hiyo ni in index form. So log itaisha. So utabaki na 9 into x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 2. Tumeelewa? Yeah, so you can work it out that way. Or another method Another method kwa hii 1, you can introduce log base 2 of 2. You know log base 2, log base A of A is just 1. Tunaelewa? So instead of 1, you can also write log base 2 of 2. Then ukiandika hivyo, now you just drop logs. Ukidrop logs, you still have 9 into x squared minus x over 3 is equals to 2. Then from there you solve. Any question? Any question? No question. So if there is no question, we can stop there. We are out of time. We can stop there and maybe continue next time. So unless someone has a question, we can stop there. So goodbye for now. Till we meet next time, God willing. So I'll just answer some of your messages here.